Well, good evening, Facebook community. This is Jennifer with Uplifting Life Naturally. Just hopping on here for a little bit for my evening live broadcast. I hope everybody had a nice weekend. It certainly was, beautiful, especially yesterday. So I hope everybody had some time to get out and enjoy the nice weather. So I wanted just to hop on here very informally and just talk to you guys a little bit about my experience with this keto diet. I'm sure, most of you have seen, or if you've been following me, have seen that I, had posted different things about the keto diet and wondering what people's opinions are. Certainly that post did get, various responses as far as some for it, some without it, as expected. It is something that's, out there. I know a lot of people have inquired about it, talking about it. Certainly as I started to read about it due to the questions that were coming towards me, given this health and wellness, business that I do, I certainly wanted to have some information to provide other than just, my personal opinion, maybe based on, what I think. So anyways, as I was, reviewing and, looking through all the literature and stuff, certainly it was something that actually struck my interest. One reason being it, according to literature anyways, and again, I am going to preface that I'm still very new at all of this, and, by all means, if this is something that you want to consider or are considering, certainly make sure it's something that you talk to with your own personal health care provider to make sure that it's something appropriate for you. Because certain health conditions, you have to watch. It's not that you maybe necessarily can't follow this type of diet, but, there are some, what word am I looking for? Just alternatives and things that may need to be altered a little bit for you based on health conditions. One of those being diabetes, also kidney disease and high blood pressure. And also, as far as the risk of heart disease and such, which I'll talk about that here in a minute. But anyways, before I go any further, like I said, any of you who may be interested, certainly make sure it is something that you are reviewing with your own personal health care provider beforehand, just to make sure it is something safe for you if you have known health issues. So anyways, getting back to one of the things that struck my interest with this keto diet is it is a diet that can be used for management of epilepsy. So, I'm sure most of you, know my daughter Caitlin, who is 9, soon to be 10, was diagnosed with epilepsy last year. Certainly she's doing very well up until this point on medications. But as, any parent, I'm hoping to get her off of medications. We still have several months before we can, do a trial with that. But it's certainly something that struck my interest because, if we struggle with getting her off of medications, or even maybe as she, gets older and things, it's something that, might be beneficial given her history. So, that alone certainly sparked my interest, as well as just, my own interest with helping people with their own health and wellness, being, the healthcare profession that I'm in and what I do. So I figured the best way for me to actually, advise on this or give information is to actually try it myself. So a friend of mine from Louisiana actually is a registered nurse. She and I had, we've been running a little bit of a group with some other friends who wanted to try it as well. And she and I are doing it along with everybody else. So after we started it last week, and I'd have to say my opinion initially was, it was just a little weird. Certainly I had been following for the past year a clean eating type diet, watching the junk foods and such, eating more fruits and vegetables and things over the past year, and doing a lot of portion control, management. So switching to a diet that was high in fat and actually allowing me to eat cream cheese and bacon was just a little bit odd for me. But, I wanted to keep going with it. And certainly as I look through the options for foods that are recommended, I was interested, and certainly, any diet, quote unquote, that allows you to have cream cheese is right up my alley. I don't know about you guys, but, certainly I feel cream cheese is probably the 5th food group. So, I definitely like cream cheese, so now I can actually eat it a little bit more, and I've been loving that part of it. But anyways, I stuck it out and was doing pretty well. Now I will admit, so far I haven't been as diligent with keeping track of all of the macros just over the past day or two. Up until then, I would say that I was going a little bit over with my amount of protein. Well, let me back up here. On the keto diet, you want a low carbohydrate, a high fat, and a moderate amount of protein. So, there are different calculations and such that help you determine these macros, as they're referred to, as to how many grams and percentages of the foods that you eat that you should have.